So I start over?
Go for it, yes.
Hi again.
Hi. Thank you for joining me for Little Big Talk with Amy. I'm so glad that you guys showed up for the party because obviously I was a little bit. This is our, what is it, our fifth one or something for this year?
Yes.
Our fifth Little Big Talk. The party? Well, there's going to be a big one tomorrow, and that's called the Oscars. Mm-hmm. As I look down the whole list of all the movies that were, that are up for the nominations, and the directors and the actors and everything like that, people, I haven't even seen hardly any of the shows except one. I'm like, oh my God.
I've seen two.
And I know so many friends that put on parties,
Yes.
for the Oscars. Cheers. This is our Oscar party,
Woohoo.
and since we are a little bit late, this is a, what do we call this, Lisa?
Mimosa.
Mimosa. Little champagne, little orange juice. So anyway, thank you for joining with me, guys. I really appreciate it. So we're going to talk a little bit about Oscars, a little bit about what I'm doing, a little bit about stuff that's on the news. The one thing that it doesn't crack me up about the Oscars, but there have been so many awards things that have been going on, and especially obviously the Grammys for music and Oscars for movies. And in between that, unfortunately, the tragedy of Whitney Houston passing on. And it is amazing how she has intertwined her whole life in these two major, venues, major events, which is music and which is television, movies. And what an impact that she has had in both of those arenas.
Tragedy.
It is.
It really is.
And then I also think about, with that tragedy, as we look to the world, on what's going on, I mean, especially in individual lives, the horribleness that we do to each other, especially, I still can't get that one family out of my mind, where I think at the Powell up in Washington,
the father.
they couldn't find his wife. Obviously, he was the prime suspect of, what do you say? I hate saying murdering or killing, but that's what happened. And then not being able to face life, and then taking his along with his two boys.
Children. That was just so sad.
I still have a hard time. And then, just the economy, and then we have this crazy election. I mean, really, Republicans? Can we pick a candidate here? So that'll be going till June. Who knows? And I am Republicans, but I'm not happy here about what's happening with that whole thing. And it being so close, in that whole thing. I think Obama is going to have a field day with that. I don't blame him. I definitely think he's going to have a field day. And then we go into Hollywood, putting on the best wrapping, the best bows, and the red carpet, and the jewelry, and the dresses. And so to me, the contrast of what these awards give, it's almost like an escape for each of us, a fantasy, or trying to think about what if. And then I thought about our event, the Amy Roloff Charity Foundation.
Yes, September
People,
15th.
I have my own red carpet, and it was so fun, though, having it here in Portland, which, I don't know, maybe sometimes they kind of have it. I'm not sure.
I don't think we have too many here in Portland.
I thought ours was pretty good. We went Ustream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. So if you want to mark that on your calendar, September 15th is our dinner auction, and we're raising monies, again, for kids, homeless kids, disadvantaged kids, youth, special needs kids. It's going to be another fun, exciting event.
Yes, and it's open to the public.
Yes, so it is. It is open to the public.
We'll have registration coming up on our website for the Amy Roloff Charity Foundation.
Well, the other thing, too, is if they can't come, it's Ustream Live. They can watch it, but they also can go to the website, donate. So it's almost like you can be a part of it, just like you're here right now, being a part of Little Big Talk. And do I have an audience here?
Woo-hoo!
Oh, there's a few.
Hey.
My guest has been patiently waiting, too, so we'll bring her on in a moment, too. Wonderful, wonderful person. So I was thinking about the Oscars. The thing that I like about the Oscars, especially the one nomination. What is it? What's the one movie that's called? The one that takes you back to the old times. It's a silent.
Hugo? Silent?
No, it's black and white. The one movie that's up for a nomination.
the one I was thinking. Oh, The Artist.
The Artist. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Balkanlight, on our chat.
Yeah, thank you. The Artist, the one thing, and I want to go see that movie because the one thing I always, when you're not part of Hollywood in the sense of living in LA or whatever, I've always had the fantasy of old Hollywood.
Yes.
You know, just what Hollywood was way back then. You know, the stars, the sophistication and I love it when the stars walk the red carpet. And they kind of bring back that old Hollywood in their fashion. Yeah, the old Hollywood.
Love it.
In their fashion and their jewelry and, you know, all of that. I just think, you know, the etiquette of it.
Etiquette, that's a great word. Yes, beautiful.
You know, maybe not knowing every little thing about each actor or actress. Still having that. You know, I guess that fantasy, really.
It is.
About it.
Movies take you, it's entertainment.
They take you back.
They take you back
to a different time.
It gets you out of some of these tragedies that are going on. And
it's an escape for a while.
It is an escape.
And then also brings you back into, though you're going through a tragedy or though you're going through something, it gives you hope because Hollywood is Hollywood. They usually have a good ending. Thank God. So, that gives us a little hope, you know, for our own lives or with whatever else we're doing. So anyway, Oscars. Yeah. People, I do not know who my favorite actor would be because George Clooney is great. Brad Pitt is great. And I'm trying to get up this email of someone that sent me this whole information. Did you look that up for me yet?
I did. You know, The Help is up for, we've got Best Actress. There's 2. In the movie The Help, and I thought that was
and I saw that movie.
Me too.
I really did.
Great, yeah. They're up for Best Picture. And
the one movie I wanted to see too was The Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, because the one thing I really like is learning about strong women that are in certain positions that you don't really think of or you don't see as often. And how they handle and go through these tough situations. I mean, she was prime minister for, you know, quite some time. And here we go. I got the information now, people. But in the meantime, movies. You saw Hugo. You loved it.
I loved that. It was.
I loved The Help.
Long, but
But
it was very fascinating. Very fascinating.
War Horses, you know, that was a lot of nominations. Now, the Best Actor, George Clooney, Jean Dujardin. I think he was The Artist. He's French. And Gary Oldman, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. And so anyway, Best Actress, Glenn Close, Albert Norbs, and that's quite interesting. Because you know what her character reminded me of? When Barbra Streisand played in Yentl and wanted to learn about, what's the Jewish, the biblical knowledge, and only the boys could do it. The girls couldn't back in that time. The Torah. Yeah, she wanted, thank you, Kathy, my guest, full of knowledge. The Torah. And so she dressed herself, pretended to be a boy, and go to school and everything.
Experience.
And Glenn Close's character was a woman portraying herself as a butler. And maybe back in those times, I don't know if it had to do something with pay. I didn't see the movie, so I'm not sure what the context of it was. But anyway, I'm sure that was lovely. But I really want to see The Iron Lady.
Yeah, I think that.
Anyway, the Oscars, we're having a party. I don't know about you, but you know, guys,
another sip.
You know where I'll be on Oscar night? My daughter Molly and I are going up to Seattle tomorrow, Sunday, because she's got a big interview at a college that she is applying for at Seattle Pacific.
Nice.
And so she is going up there to visit the campus, but also to go through this big, huge interview for scholarship. And she's so smart. She's so lovely. She's just so everything.
She always.
Well, it's a tough. It's a tough day. It's going to be a tough interview for her. But I'm there to root her on, take her up there, and so we get to spend the night in Seattle.
Nice.
So I may not be able to watch these wonderful Oscars.
Oh.
But I hope so. We get up there early enough.
Yeah,
so.
the hotel.
But you know, it shows early in the West.
But don't they repeat it on some of the show? Different.
Well, I'll watch
I
one
think
of the
they
entertainment
repeat.
news.
Yeah.
But it shows early on the West because in order for the
East
East
Coast.
Coast, because I'm assuming it's live. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure
yeah,
it
it's
is,
live.
too. Oh yeah.
Because they always talk about them getting it ready right now.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Oscars. Okay, what else is in my little tidbits of news? One thing I read about a man losing his wallet 35 years ago when he was remodeling a house out in Kansas.
Wow.
And someone happened to be in that same house, went up in the attic and found the wallet. And they called this gentleman up. He was totally shocked. I'm surprised they were able to find him because I'm sure this gentleman has moved several times or who knows what's happened to his life. But he was so excited because there was no money in there. Maybe someone took it over time. Who knows? But the one thing he was really appreciative of, see, 30 years ago to me sounds like 1940. But you know what? 30 years ago is only like 1975. I feel so
We're still
old.
in high school.
Oh my gosh, I feel so old. But he had his draft card in there. He had some pictures of when he was in the Navy. But the one thing I thought was really special is that he also had a picture of his sweetheart. I guess sweetheart, that's what it reminded me of. Someone back in the 1950s or something like that. But he happens to still be married to this woman. The picture of that sweetheart is his wife, and so they were married for 40 years. So I thought that was kind of, just a nice little, cute little story.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we think about gas prices?
Oh
Really?
my gosh. Oh,
I'm astounded.
it's scary.
Well, the
It's
thing
really
that,
scary.
cracks me up is like suddenly gas prices are going up. There's no well, they've always been going up, but it's been so gradual that we don't even, some of us really don't even think about it until we're filling up our tank. But it seems like suddenly it's like, okay, here, it's $5.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, we were $3.23. What happened here?
Yeah. It's
But look at what's happening in
the Middle East.
yeah, what's that country? Syria?
Syria.
Yeah,
Oh,
Syria.
Syria, it's tough.
Believe people, I did know the country. I just have a hard time pronouncing some words. So I did know about what's happening in the world.
Yeah, it's a sad situation.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And the thing that I keep thinking about is, okay, this is a civil war. Horrible, tragic, whatever. But what are we relating it to where suddenly all these countries are like going to come in and it's like, when do we say this is your business?
Right.
Figure it out, people, because what you're doing is not right.
But
it's
it does
wrong.
affect
It's
us.
horrible.
That's why.
Well, I think some of these more civil wars that are happening in certain parts of the
Mm-hmm.
world do affect us
Look
directly.
at the correspondent that was killed 2 nights ago.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
had been she
Yeah.
dedicated her life
Oh, yeah.
to reporting the news and getting
And a lot of them.
inside
Oh, yeah.
to home Syria, and she
Yeah.
reported, and 2 hours later they
She's dead.
bombed her.
Well, a
camp.
lot of those
Sad.
photojournalists who go out there and documentary journalists or whatever you call them, I mean, they definitely know that risk. I mean, they always put themselves out there, and especially these independent journalists that I read too. They keep going out there because getting that one story or something like that is, it's just in their blood.
Yeah.
And I wonder why these other surrounding countries. Why don't you guys speak up? I mean, but when you've been in war for so long,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it becomes your norm, even though it's so
Well,
horrible.
Right, and there's people are so poor anyway. They're
Yeah.
just happy to be living.
Or you have this over here
Yeah.
and then poor
and if
over
you
there.
do speak up, the government comes in and takes your family, and I mean, there's no winning. There's no winner here at all.
No, there's
it's
not.
Really sad.
And then the other thing is, talk about government, layers and layers of government and everything else. Okay, we suddenly have 35,000 postal jobs going to go away. It's like, when did you think that was going to happen, people?
Yeah.
Like with the technology, Facebook, email.
I know.
I think they should agree. The thing that bothers me is, you guys know this. You guys knew this like 10 years ago. That your people using the postal system was decreasing and people weren't using it as much. Even though we still need it around, that why didn't you take little bits at a time?
Right. Have a
Nope,
plan.
suddenly $35,000 job, or 35,000 jobs gone.
Well,
Those families.
the Postal Overnight Express, to my knowledge, that's outsourced to FedEx. So people don't know.
Really?
Yes. And so that they could do it a lot less expensive.
So what we're really saying is that Privatize.
No,
Maybe.
because the government has so much waste and so much going on, they're not planning ahead.
I just look at it. They have so many layers. It's like they just bandage it up instead of let's peel away the layers and really get to the core of what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Anyway, so that's why we're celebrating the Oscars. Let us escape a little bit
Yes.
into The Descendants, something that's happening in life today, unfortunately. I think it was divorce. No. I think the wife died in that movie. And suddenly the father has to take care of his daughters. And he doesn't know what to do. And all of his friends. But then again, they're in lovely Hawaii. Anyway, good movie about, just what's going on in life. Moneyballs. Is it Moneyballs?
Moneyball.
I really wanted to see that movie
Jonah
because
Hill.
the Oakland A's, it was all about them forming their team. And I like that grassroots, that heart of that first time when you have your mission. And when it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, have you really lost what made you first start the whole thing? Yeah. It's like Amy Roloff Charity Foundation. That's why, I keep going. Yeah. We've refined it, but I still want, why are we doing what we're doing every year before we have our event? Why are we doing, let's make sure our head is still into what we're doing. So I kind of wanted to see Moneyball because I like that grassroots of the basic fundamentals of baseball. A ball, a bat, players, you need a place to play, people to watch, team. So anyway, hopefully you guys are having a good time at the Oscars. Who's on board? Are you logged in?
Tori from Sacramento is on the phone. Is on here.
Oh, Tori. Well, Tori Fallis probably.
Yes.
Palapas.
Yes. Is it? Oh, Redmond.
No, Redmond.
Redmond.
Hi, Tori.
Yes.
She is wonderful, wonderful. She came out to Flip Flops Lemon Drops from our auction package last year. Yeah. That was great. So she traveled all the way up here. So people, even if you can't attend the auction event, you still can be a part of it. And,
Reading. Sorry, Tori.
Yeah,
Reading.
Redmond, Reading.
Reading, California. Yeah.
So hi, Tori. Thank you for tuning in. Who else do we have?
Helen from The Deadliest Catch up in Seattle.
Yeah. Helen, thank you. I'm going to be up in Seattle, like I said, tomorrow.
Yeah.
In fact, my nephew lives up there, so I might have dinner with him. I got to get a hold of him.
Very cool.
But anyway, Helen, thank you. Deadliest Catch. I hope you guys are doing well out there.
McCall.
In fact, it reminded me of you guys because Undercover Boss, I love that show.
Oh, yeah.
Last night's was about an owner of some of these fishing boats and catching fish and all the kind of gruesome stuff, really. But it took him back to how he got started, and that's why I love this, because once you become the boss, sometimes you forget about what your people are actually doing.
Right.
And so he went in there and said, and he could not do half the work efficiently, in time, without waste or endangerment, like he used to do. But it reminded him of what hard work this is.
It's humbling.
And a lot of these guys and some women are being away from their families and, all this stuff. So Helen, Undercover Boss reminded me of Deadliest Catch and all you guys. So thank you for tuning in.
And we have Matt Hall from Sweden.
Oh yeah, Matt Hall. He's, or she, or he. Sorry, I can't remember. With some of these names, I can't remember.
It's hard. So
but he's been on, or she's been on before, right?
Yes, long time.
So so thank you, Sweden.
Yeah.
One day I'll be out there, Sweden, Norway. One day.
We've got Florida. We've got Michigan. Great shout out to everybody.
Yeah, Florida, Michigan, my home state. Love it. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, his real name is Andrew. McCall's real name
is
Andrew.
Woo-hoo. I like Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew, and I like the formal names like Michael, Matthew, or, well, I could say Tim. Timothy. Tim's better. Joshua. I like Joshua. Joshua.
Yeah. New York. We've got New York on.
Oh, yeah, New York. I was just out there a week ago.
Yes.
Still love it.
Some loyal
Crazy
fans.
city. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to Little Big Talk. I really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And as I go from the Oscars and the hecticness of getting ready for our show and the technology.
It was a little hectic this morning.
Well, you know what?
Appreciate everybody hanging on.
I really do.
If you hadn't burnt those cupcakes, we would have been on sooner.
I was trying a new recipe, people. It's almost like as I try a new speech. I do speaking engagements occasionally all over the place. And I get nervous. You know, I think about the audience that I'm speaking to, whether it be women's groups, whether it be colleges, whether it be nonprofits, you know, all sorts of stuff. And the hecticness and the nervousness and being on stage, walking the red carpet and
I know.
burning my cupcakes in the meantime. Or when I lose my speech and my computer doesn't work and I'm thinking, okay, who am I speaking to? What were my main thoughts? What did I really want to get across? Usually ends up, maybe not as best as I would want, but it usually, you know, goes well.
But it's fun because this is not that the show isn't the real you, because it is,
Oh, it is.
one of the
Believe
only
me.
non-scripted reality TV shows. People need to know that. But
Yeah.
Saturday, every other Saturday for Little Big Talk, I mean, this is it. Rich and I are whipping
Well,
the
see,
front
that's
door
it.
open. You're in your robe, running to get your makeup.
And
We're
if I
trying to get
could-
things ready.
And I probably should turn the camera around, maybe at the end when we're done with this all, to have you see. This is really run right now. Lisa is kind of like my right-hand person, my production assistant, my co-person here.
I have 10 hats.
And then Rich is behind the scenes, and he sets up all the computers, the cameras, everything.
lot.
So it's really just the three of us really putting this on. But I tell you,
Yeah.
we're having a ball. It's real.
It is
It's
fun.
down home. It's in my kitchen, in my home. What you guys have seen on Little People Big World, and
Yeah. And this
you know
is it.
everything else that I've seen.
Rocky's
And
under the table right by my foot.
one thing I wanted to bring out too before I forget, if you saw the last episode of Little People Big World, we did have a little bit about my cookbook. And so the cookbook is scheduled to be out October 1st. So in time for the fall and maybe the holidays, gifts, or whatever else you want to do. Short and simple. I
Fun.
think we're sticking with that name. I love it.
I love it.
A lot of the recipes are short and simple. They're what I do, or kind of what I've fluffed up, put a little of my own flair to the recipes. Because my tagline will always be, it's better to have 15 minutes with you or with your family. It's better than none at all. So I definitely cook at home. I do not go out to eat much.
We have a special guest that's
Yeah.
watching. I think
Yes.
you know her. And
Okay.
last time I did not.
I know.
mention
Last time, Lisa, I'm like, Lisa, you have to tell me they sang.
Zach's girlfriend's on.
Tori, hi. I texted her later. I said, well, if you still want to, get on. So hi, Tori.
Tori.
Thank you.
Yay!
As you know, Zachary is working all day today, and so I think last night he goes, man, I really got to get a good night's rest, you know, because he works all day, and he probably has a game later today. I don't know. That kid goes and goes. So Tori, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
A good shout out. Wonderful, wonderful young woman. I really like her. So anyway, my cookbook, October 1st. Look for it. I'll definitely keep you updates. I'm going to have a whole nother website for that, just kind of doing tidbits. And we're going to have a cooking segment after this. It's already going to be pre-made because we did get off to a late start, so I don't want to bore you guys a lot with, prepping and cooking and all that stuff. But I'll try and get the recipes out to you as soon as I can. And I think that'll be on Little Big Talk's website, Rich?
Yes? We're a little delayed. Yeah.
I hear you a few seconds after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When we speak, Rich hears us like a few seconds. It delays. So we're looking at him waiting for a response, and then he jumps up.
I think I
So
should have cut these oranges smaller.
We're good. Hey, what's in the oven? Something smelling good in the oven. What are we doing?
Oh, no, we've got to guess first.
I know. Okay, but
I
do
already
we need
took-
to check on anything.
I
in the
already
oven?
took the stuff out of the
Oh,
oven
good.
because we were running a little bit
I
late.
do not want to burn anything else in this house. Okay.
I
let's
put Lisa on the alert saying, Lisa, when I say go to the oven, don't ask me anything, just go to the oven and take whatever else, whatever in there.
So I was trying to send the
Yeah.
code to you.
But I already took it out. So anyway, I want to bring my guest on, and thank you again for joining me today. I have worked with her. Her name is Kathy Nelson, and she does Connect Works. She's a business coach, a life coach, and I never knew, kind of like picking the right one, but how sometimes that is so valuable to have someone like that in your life, especially with all that I've been doing, being an at-home mom, doing lots of television. My kids are moving out. They're going to college. It's like, okay, what do I do now? Where I've had little bits and pieces of all this stuff. How do I bring that all together and put it more into focus, more organized, and give me a better direction onto what I need to do. So, no further ado. Is that right? No further ado.
right.
Kathy Nelson.
Yay, come on.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, you're drinking coffee. Oh,
Well,
I do have a little drink here
yeah,
for
we
you.
need to
Join
cheer
us for
first.
we could be a
Oscars.
double-fisted.
Yeah.
Of course. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey.
Because you know what? We are creating our own movie, people. Because the movie is about our life and our journey.
This is great.
So we're doing our own thing. We are doing, oh yeah, here it is. Celebrate the movie and all of us. I think that's the theme of the Oscars. I thought it was a lovely thing.
It is.
Because we each have our own movie and it's all wonderful. Not everyone will want to watch, but we should enjoy it, embrace it, and kind of be our own producer and director.
You said it.
So thank you for being
Thanks for
here.
having me, Amy.
So first of all, what is the name of your business?
Well, my company name is ConnectWorks.
Okay, that's what I thought, ConnectWorks. So how long have you been doing that?
I launched ConnectWorks 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. So you have been in there. I knew that.
April 2002.
Okay,
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
So, I kind of led into, the general focus on what I needed and how we, kind of worked together. We've worked together for about 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I went in we talked, an interview or whatever, we talked, and I think I just rambled and said, this is all I do. Boom, 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 boom. I do all this stuff. And I think you probably looked at it like, oh my gosh. But then
Never.
But then you were so good at focusing in. Okay, let's put these into categories. If you do TV, if you do want to, what is your business? Well, currently it's Living Large Enterprises, which I may change its name because I like a different name. And then I do speaking engagements, and then little big talk, compartmentalized. So give me a general overall of what you do when people come to you, or what are some of the examples as to why people come to you? What are some of their needs?
Well, it's interesting, Amy, because as you just described, the kind of the brain dump, where you just kind of like, can somebody help me with all of this? I had a call out of the blue last week, and I sat down yesterday with a woman, kind of the same thing. It's, there's a point when there's enough plates in the air, balls in the air, if you're juggling, that you're feeling like the edge of keeping track of everything, or you start dropping balls.
Yeah.
So I found that I'd been doing this for a long time, probably most of my life, ending up helping people sort out how to get things done. So what ends up happening is I come from a personal belief that we all are talented and gifted and have a place and a voice that people need to hear, even if we're just raising our children, or we're speaking, or even sharing our gift in a business. Maybe we have an expertise to do something. So when people come to me like you did, and I find that there's usually a range when there's an impetus for it between 45 and 55. There's kind of this
Midlife. Here we are,
You're
midlife.
reinventing yourself, basically.
It is. It is
Reinventing,
reinventing.
and you're really ready because you've had the experience. You know what you don't like to do, and I believe that because we're whole people, if we're dealing in business, we're dealing in life, that it's about being congruent with our values. And sometimes we've gotten so overloaded with the messages and the beliefs about how we should be in the world that we've compromised on who we really are.
It's so interesting because I've been reading a book too, and it's kind of an out there book, but when you bring it back to what your core values and your core beliefs are, that is really what it is. We're soaking in all these different messages of who we should be, who people think we should be, or what we want to be according to what we think people want us to be. It's almost like taking away all those layers, but what makes you you, and now you will be better at doing all these things when you kind of take on and knowing those characteristics, knowing those values, knowing those talents. Because I think you also had me do a test.
I did.
And it was very interesting. I thought, oh, is that me? Well, it kind of like those...
an assessment.
An assessment.
Perfect.
And stuff. So I thought that was very interesting. And when you say sometimes the balls drop, or we have so many up in the air, even though we're maintaining them, I sometimes felt like I'm only maintaining them at a very minimal.
Yeah, it's not
because
quality.
I'm not giving enough to each one to be maybe as successful as I want to be, or to give
fulfilled,
it
or
or
the
fulfilled.
fulfillment that comes from it, because you're not really engaged with it.
Or even in a positive result oriented, maybe it's still successful and not as successful as I want, but I'm still giving a lot that it has some meat to it. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So what are some of the processes that you go through with someone, like, like with me?
Usually people start with, and where I come from, I call myself a business strategist, because it's really about helping create a business.
I said a business coach.
No, it's all right. There's business coaching, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's about, I'll keep using this because it's really about this whole holistic approach to creating a business model around the things that you want to be, do, and express, and aligning it so that it works in your strengths. Yeah. So, one of the core elements is really creating that vision. We look out in the future and begin to picture ourselves where we want to go and what we want it to look like, who we want to be working with, what we want them to be saying about us. So really, one of the first things we did was really to get really clear about your vision. Where did you want to go? What do you want to be? How do you want your family to be engaged with you? And what kind of audiences did you want to be engaging with? And what kind of messages did you want to leave them with? And then we came into your strengths assessment. And so I usually will do a strengths assessment from strengthsfinder.com or StrengthsFinder 2.0, which is a simple assessment that every one of you can take. Buy the book on Amazon, $13. Yeah. It does an online assessment and spits you back a report with your top 5 signature strength themes.
That's interesting.
And when I read the philosophy, actually originated with Donald Clifton, who's the father of strengths-based psychology, and he was partnering with Marcus Buckingham in the Gallup organization. When I read the book about 12 years ago, I was actually a leader in another company, and it was like, wow, somebody finally gets me. Yeah. And their philosophy is if you're working in your strengths, your capacity for growth is greater than when you're working in your weaknesses. Yeah. And I've added or incorporated out of that thought is that when we work on our weaknesses, we will only reach a level of competence, but never brilliance. So really, when we think of the things that attract people to us and make us feel fulfilled, is really that sweet spot of brilliance. And when we're trying to build a business out of what we love to do, really being able to focus in and slough off the things that we become competent at, because the American culture is so much about being efficient and being multi-talented and multitasking that we've added a lot of.
Well, the one thing I really got out of this is that, doing all of those things. You looking for your backpack, Molly? It's over there by the living room chair.
Hi, Molly.
Molly, we kind of disrupted her study area, so sorry, people. Sorry, Kathy. Okay. The one thing I, really liked about you, or sometimes when I read some of these books, or even the strength assessment, you need reminders sometimes. It's like all of this stuff I knew, but I got lost on how to bring it all together and really make it successful. Or I have this dream. How do I get that dream going amongst all this other stuff that I'm doing? Or how do I strategically incorporate it if I can? Or how do I let something go if this is truly a dream that I have, whatever it may be, to make it happen? And then a lot of times we have this dream, but how do we look months into the future? And how do we implement it, or what are some of the steps? So that's what I really appreciated about you is it's like I'm multitasking. I'm all over the place, but I need someone. Can you help me with these steps that I need? Can you give me not a roadmap enough so I know where I'm going, but not telling me every little exact thing that I need to do.
Heaven forbid.
Because heaven forbid.
Would anybody? I would hate that myself.
Yeah. So. But you know what you want to do. You have these visions of things you want to do, but it's like, okay, how can I even start? I'm stuck already because. How do I get there?
Well, the other thing, you're doing something new. I mean, many people that come to me, even like Amy, you're extremely talented, but you didn't come out of a management school or, a business school necessarily.
That was a long time ago, even though I have a degree.
Yeah, you did. So, and the way business is being done now, so you're actually trying to do something in an environment that's changing so rapidly.
Right.
And having the expertise or resources from a network.
And that's one of the things that I really like too about that strength assessment too, is we kind of know or think we know what our strengths are, but then we're realizing, well, we may have something that we never even thought we had, or we don't have something that we really thought we have, and maybe we have to work on it more, or maybe not focus on that so much and really focus on some of these other strengths that really will help you get where you want to be.
Well, and that's actually the counterintuitive nature of a strength is that we're so good at it that it's close, and it almost becomes invisible to us because it's like, well, it's so easy. It's so easy for me. So that we don't see it as having value.
Yeah.
And we actually, it becomes very difficult to define. That's why I really appreciate that book, because it articulates some of those things.
And like you said, we sometimes are so close right here that we don't see out there, and we need to, because we're working on it. Do we have any questions or anyone
that's saying, she's had this dream or vision, but she keeps going down the wrong ramps. What do you do for someone who keeps going down the wrong ramps?
Well, I've one of the things about this is actually my third business. My first business I started at 29 and was very confident I could do what I had in my mind to do, like many of us starting that. And I had to walk away after a couple of years, losing a lot of money and feeling like you'll never do that again. And then I spent 10 years building another organization, and before I went into consulting. And what I see is that when we take the wrong steps, sometimes we've got a belief system that we have to stick with it, that it's us, us is the problem, that it's not working. And without a feedback loop from either a peer group or a
mentor
or
something like that,
we may stay on that path longer than we should, and it costs us money, and it costs us in our confidence.
Interesting.
So you might have to let go.
So, and there's a lot of free resources out there. If you're in the U.S., the SBA has a lot. The Small Business Administration has a lot of free resources online. Many cities have a small business development center that create economical packages where you can go and get informed and trained about some of the things.
Yeah.
But a business coach, or even, and not only myself, but a lot of other business coaches have free downloads on different aspects of growing your business, starting your business, how to get focused.
But also, like with her example, is that she may have this dream or this concept or whatever she wants to do, and if she feels like she's keep going down the wrong road, then some of her steps, some of her methods, some of her perceptions on how she gets there is not working. So bringing a business coach or a business strategist into that will say, this is still, your dream is still okay.
Exactly.
But you really need to go this way and stop, not doing this, but still keep going down that one path, I would think.
Well, and I was just thinking, Lisa, as you were asking the question, and as Amy was chatting, you're just elaborating there. Really, there's a couple of things you can do to test your offering. If it's a talent that you bring or an expertise you bring. And one of those is to look at what you've been doing for free, because many people love what they do and they give it away.
Oh. Okay. Yes. Cheers.
Because we love it.
We love it. We do it, and we go, gosh, I'm contributing. I'm motivated by contribution, and I'm pretty sure I can make money at this. And I don't know if this is the caller's scenario, but one way to validate the value exchange, I call it, is to go back to some of the people you've given free services or given free advice or done free work for, and see what the impact has been on them economically.
What it's done for them.
Yeah. So have they had an increase in sales? Have they attracted more members if you were contributing to an organization? Have they increased efficiencies? Have they had a lifestyle impact?
Wow, I need
have
to
they
take
been
note.
able to reduce their hours? It's kind of
again.
interesting because we don't think about, because it's so easy for us. I mean, I did it for years. So, but I'm the same candidate. I did it for years.
So how do you turn that?
Well, hang on. Well, I think one thing, as you just mentioned too, is that when we're first starting off, we do give it for free, or either our time, our product, or if you're into jewelry, makeup, or whatever it may be, that because you want to test it. You want to see, am I good enough? Is this working? Are people happy with what I'm doing or what I'm offering or what I'm working for them or something? And then, like you said, great. Go back to them now and say, would you pay for that?
Well,
how did it work for you?
Exactly. Well, and if you're just starting and you're thinking you're going to use your free stuff as a marketing, and I'm a big free stuff marketer, by the way, so don't get me wrong.
Hang on for just a second. People, I'm going to have Zachary take one of my things that I made because he's starving. So
Aw.
if there's one less there, then that's okay. Because I have to save one for Rich. Let me know how it tastes. It's chicken,
Have him
bacon,
come in and try.
pineapple.
Come in, come in.
Zachary just got back from work.
How are your teeth doing, by the way?
Sorry.
How are your teeth doing?
They're doing good.
Good. I had 2 pulled
Do you want to show
2
that
days
up?
ago.
It's a chicken kebab. That was one of the hors d'oeuvres I was going to talk about the Oscars. This is Kathy Nelson. She is my I'm going to call you business coach because I like that.
That's fine.
My business coach, helping me get focused on speaking, my websites, and just what am I doing. So
Awesome.
she could
Yeah.
probably help you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Get all the ducks in a row.
Sorry, Kathy.
That's okay.
This is live. This
I
is in my
know.
home, and
That's why people
so I
love
got
it.
people coming and going. And
How is it, Zach?
Awesome like always.
Awesome like
good.
always? I know. She's a great cook.
well, I'll tell it. Remind me of the chicken story.
Chicken story,
Okay,
okay.
go on.
Well, so I'm a big proponent of free stuff marketing, but the challenge with beginning to test your offering for free is that you can stay in the free stuff zone for too long, and you're really not
Rocky, go.
creating.
Dilute.
Puppy dog.
Okay, Rocky's under the table wanting attention now. Rocky,
Getting all over the place.
last time he disconnected the computer. Come on, Rocky. Come here.
Well, we give things away
Yeah.
for too long, or we charge an introductory fee or a lower fee to test the market for too long, and it stresses us, and we begin to get resentful.
And we feel like it's hard to go back and now increase that amount or the value of what you really are or should be.
Interesting.
And so if you look at it strategically and set yourself a time frame and say, for 90 days, I'm going to take on 5 projects or 3 projects or 2 projects that will illustrate a specific outcome that I'd like to test. Whatever it is, you could be a floral designer, you could be an interior designer, you could be a speaker, you could be a, even producing a product that you've got a prototype and you want to test. Well, finding people that will partner with you. There are people want to help.
Yeah.
I mean, people want to help, and especially those that will find a gain from whatever you're bringing to the table. But if you say I'm going to do that for 90 days, and in exchange for me giving this free or reduced rate, I'd like testimonial, I'd like feedback. I'd like you to be part of my focus group. Let's be part of making this something.
And going to you and having you tell me all that and some of the other things that, we worked on, I thought, oh, I am the perfect example that with all the other stuff that was happening in my life, I was kind of like doing the speaking, like kind of like having it come in underneath the door type of thing. And I was doing it. I really didn't have to work at it that hard because there was enough coming in with doing TV, raising kids, sports, all this other stuff. Now I've come to the point that I have been doing this for a long time. Now I have to reorganize it. How much do I charge now compared to then, or the economic times, or whatever it may be, that I'm falling into those things. So to me, having a business strategist helped in the sense that now let's ring this in. Let's be a lot more consistent. That way your audience or your target customers or clients or whatever will now have some consistency in what I do, what I hope to do, what I'll give to them, what I'll provide, or what their outcome will be at their event, conference, or whatever it may be. So because we'll wrap this up unless we've got some more questions here. What would be, what have you, number one, what kinds of people have come to you? I mean, has it been housewives, homemakers that, geez, I have to get back into the workforce. What do I do? This is what I want to do, but I don't know how to get started. People that have been in it for a while are maybe taking the second chance or the second part of life, going into a new thing, a new career, a new adventure, whatever, needing, okay, what do? I know how to do this, but this is different. Or, whatever else. What type of women and what is the 1, 2, 3 key components that you would work on or that they should be looking for?
Well, let me tell you some of the characteristics. I think that will kind of play out across the spectrum. So the people that I end up working with, I work with a lot of people that actually don't engage me just because I am a free stuff marketer, and I feel like paying it forward in the early stages, somebody helped me. And I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't been able to get these little pieces of wisdom that I could overlay on launching my own foundation. So I'm big about that. But the people that actually usually end up engaging me are highly motivated, visionary people. They're very talented. And some of their values are leveraging time, delivering value to customers, really developing their teams, you know, the people that they work with. So on one-on-one, while I have a large contingent of people that I'm helping create working business plans, we call it. We're actually putting all the pieces together and putting together a roadmap that fits your life.
So do they have a lot more people involved in their world? Because I would consider me like a sole entrepreneur.
So that's absolutely right. So I've got a kind of a solo entrepreneur who are building working plans because they've got the opportunity to create some pretty substantial revenue if they leverage intentional and stay in balance in their life, even though balance is an elusive word. It's about creating harmony with your life. But I also work with executives who have personality-driven companies where have the idea. I have a software company that I'm working with currently. I have I've worked with in the past, and I continue to go back and work with him. A small manufacturing, very talented artist who does monuments and reductions or miniatures from artists' renditions. So he's the mid guy for these artists who are consigned to do these kind of work. Well, there's a point in the bottleneck of his growth where he couldn't grow anymore. And so usually these people contact me because they need to find more time and they need to find ways to increase profits. And you're just you've taken your own talents to the point where, okay, I've done pretty well to this point, which is your story. I've done pretty well to this point, but now I need to do it on purpose, and I want more. I mean, so it's like that. I want more. So I have a lot of people in that early stage of startup, and they just want to get the foundation laid. I've got those that actually have the opportunity to create substantial revenue if they're strategic, working with the right people, selling the right products, and really leveraging all the marketing and branding. Really creating a consistent brand out in the world. Even though I'm not a branding specialist, I believe we bring our personal brand to the table.
You give people, you put people on the right track, on the right road, that this is an area you need to, get someone else to kind of highlight much more with all the stuff that we've done here.
You don't see
that's right.
outside.
You
You need someone looking in to say, hey, I see this.
Well, that's what I mean.
Let's
Like,
put it all together.
going to her, or when people, talk about certain things, or even when I go out and talk, I'm not really talking about anything new. It's just given in a different perspective, a different way.
Yeah.
But it brings people back to, oh yeah, I know I can do this now. She's inspired me, or she's motivated me. That, wow, with her story, yeah, I can go do this. So.
And you give people permission. I believe that's one of the things that most of my clients have in common with me, is that we're very passionate about serving other people and building a business around it. And so when we're able to bring those commonsensical almost approaches to thing and kind of cut away the clutter that everything gets added, and beliefs and expectations, so we can kind of come back to center. And I think I was talking to you earlier about I believe the drive for this 2012 and beyond in this new economy is simplicity and sustainability. And for companies who are growing, one of the kind of buzzwords in the consulting arena is strategic agility. So how do we keep our organizations or our companies, I mean, even if we're solopreneurs, or even small businesses with small teams, simple enough that we can be strategically agile to shift to what's happening in the world? I mean, we're in an ever-changing world where,
you have
global economy, something can happen anywhere, like we were talking about the gas situation, can end up hitting in our own backyard. So to be able to keep your eye on the ball, and that might not be overwhelming to people, but if you can be part of either a mastermind group or a coaching circle, or have somebody you can check in with that's helping you keep your eye on that. I mean, I do. I have for years, because I've become known to be the resource, the go-to resource. When people want to know things, they either go to my website or they call me, and where are the networking events, what marketing technology.
But I think you hit it on the spot with, especially with the housing market and everything else happening. People have realized, where's the foundation? Where is the core of a family? Because you just lost your house, or you're struggling in debt, or whatever it be, or companies or businesses or something like that. That we can still keep doing what we need to do, because it's still valuable out there, but shift, because things are changing at a much, much quicker thing. I have a hard time with that. I'm like, I'm a traditionalist, a lot, but yet I have to remain flexible in order to shift and change, and what's, what are people's needs now. And that can be hard. It's like, look at Facebook. It's like when I first got onto Facebook, I'm like, really, people? Really? I know it. Now they want timeline. Now everyone's into Pinterest or
Pinterest.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
I'm like, people, I just got knowing this. But yet, in order to keep up with certain things, technology, businesses, what are people's needs? What do they want? What's the consumer? What's your clientele? What's happening with their businesses that you're serving? To keep moving forward, to be flexible. And
it's important to be
tough.
in touch with people who can tell you which is important to pay attention to and which is not. Because some of it's just marketing hype. And it's frustrating even for me, because I'll go down a path like, because it seems like from all of the data and information I'm gathering, this is the place to invest time and energy. And I'm a late adopter of technology because I want to make sure that it's the right one.
Right.
Because time is money. I mean,
but I think that's a good, like you just kind of touched upon too. Sometimes there are so many changes happening out there. It doesn't mean you need to change in all these areas.
Exactly.
Pick the ones that are really going to be beneficial to you in order for you to be the best, in order to provide whatever you do.
Exactly.
So how do you bring on new clients? Can people go to your website? Do you do consulting? Let's say they're in New York. I have somebody on that would be interested in talking to you. How do people contact you?
Well, if you can go to my website, which is kathynelson.com, KATHIENELSON.com. I've just launched this last couple months ago, and it's still being built out in resources, but it's called Monetize Me. And it's really geared to those visionary leaders who are monetizing their expertise in this current economy. And there's a sign up on my homepage that you can be part of that community. We're actually doing a free series with guest experts on all these different aspects, because what I find was some of my biggest struggles is that I kept investing money, almost like this person who wrote in earlier. I kept investing money to learn things and to stay ahead of the game. As a matter of fact, in the last year, I probably spent, I don't even want to say how much I've spent. It's big. I know it's going to pay off, but
because even you've got to keep learning. You've got to keep, on top of things.
But things that would have been shortcuts for me if I'd known, or if I'd been able to, things I would say, knowing what I know now, what I would have said then. So I've picked experts at key elements along the way. So like this week we had a gal who did the top tech tools, because technology can be such a time suck, pardon my language, but just it's this big black hole. And
I think social media is a big thing.
If there's somebody that you can follow who's just kind of always checking that.
Right.
I've had a gal who talked about monetizing your expertise or reinventing yourself in different products or different information products. I've had a gal talk about how to maximize.
I think I have to sign up on this. I don't think I'm signed up on that.
We need to be in that
Oh
community.
my
there's a
gosh!
Facebook,
No, I need to learn.
There's a Facebook page. It's Facebook.com/monetize me.
Okay.
That's a community of people just like you that are all moving their business forward. As a matter of fact, today one of our experts is offering a productivity, how to go from procrastination to productivity program today. And he does these virtual programs that you can actually bring your product and work through it and get it done. Because undone products don't create revenue.
So they go through you and then to that expert?
Well, they can actually connect to the expert they need
directly.
But I also offer a 27-minute laser session. And so when they sign up through the Monetize Me, there's actually a box they can click that said like a 27-minute laser session with you.
Laser session.
A laser coaching session, which we just get dig right
zeroed in.
So what you'll do is you'll sign up for the session. You'll get a what I call a focus form back. You send me the information, we get on the calendar, and it's amazing what we can dig into in 27 minutes.
So do you have them fill out an analysis first, or assessment?
Well, actually, I just have them tell me a little bit about them and their goals and what's getting in the way. And it's what I do, is to be able to ask some questions to be able to get to the bottom.
To give them,
and give them
certain
some
tools.
direction and resources. And then if they're really ready to engage with somebody like me, I will know. I actually never try to sell anything people don't need. That's a blessing and a curse. But I want to make sure direct them to resources that are timely for wherever they are in their growth curve, as well as economically what makes best sense for their business model. Because if you're in startup and you're making $1,000 a month, you're not necessarily going to be at a place where you're going to hire a coach full time, but there are resources to get involved with the community. But say if you've got a company that can be earning $250,000, $500,000, $1 million, if you were to tweak a few things and have your business model tweaked in where you're spending your time, that's certainly worth investing in someone who can partner with you, which is the way I look at it. I partner with my clients to kind of help them see things they wouldn't see and create this roadmap.
Well, the other thing that Kathy does too, if, a business strategist, a business coach, or whatever you feel like you need for where you guys are at, I'm sure there's many of them in your area, or like Kathy said, feel free to go onto her website, and that's www.kathynelson.com. Or can they go to ConnectWorks too? Or is it best to go Kathy Nelson?
It's all direct.
Okay, yeah,
And it's
that's what I think.
Kathie.
Yeah, it is.
Put it on here.
It is Kathie Nelson, Nelson, and Kathy is the same way as my sister's name is spelled. So anyway, so I could really go on and on with this. In fact, we sit for an hour, 2 hours sometimes. So thank you for being here.
Yes.
If you want to stay, I might have a few.
I want to see your cooking
Few hors
segment.
d'oeuvres left.
I don't know. I think Zach ate most
Yeah, I'm not sure there.
Poor guy.
But
I was trying to help, but I'm like, I don't really cook much. So how do you apply?
yeah. So
I know
thank
that.
you for your patience on waiting for us to get
No
this all
problem.
set up. And hopefully
Thank you
you guys got a chance to maybe, pick out certain things or certain key words or certain thoughts that may help you as to where you're at. I know she has helped me a lot, and now it's up to me to take advantage of what we work together in order to get things moving in what I consider the right direction for my life, second half of my life, but then also hone in and kind of have her, key in once in a while and say, am I still there? What am I doing again?
Yeah.
And, keep having her assist me a little bit.
We did have
So,
one
yeah.
viewer
Oh, yeah,
that
go
was
ahead.
saying, hey, at 40, should you be reinventing yourself? That's something to ask too. You're not having these thoughts of, not being productive or whatever.
Meaning it's
but-
okay to still be happy where you're at and what you're
but
doing.
should you take a laser session and maybe, that sounds great to me. I'm ready to sign up as soon as this is over. But 27 minutes to go through and just say, hey, here's what I really like. Maybe I don't even know I have a problem,
Yeah.
or I wouldn't call it a problem,
Yeah,
but where I'm at. Maybe I could improve, not thinking that I need
And sometimes you don't know. You need someone else to come in and say, that's great.
Yeah.
If you're happy where you're at, that's great. But maybe if you want to go this step further here or there.
Well, Lisa, let me give you a quick. I actually felt like I reinvented my life at 38 because I was so unhappy with the life I had. Which seems crazy because I had a husband and great kids and everything, but I just didn't feel good being me. I felt like it was a bad thing to be me. I was performing okay, but I wasn't really working on my strengths, and so I was getting a lot of negative messages. Well, I wrote a book with my mom last year and a half ago, and it was interesting because I went through this reinvention journey at 38 through 40, basically, which is 10 years ago when I launched my company. But my mom actually at 62 thought she was dying because she was nearing the age of her parents' death, and the book is called Journal and articulate and create learning lessons for the reader. She reinvented her life after 62, and not only, she's 75, and we're going to Mexico next month for a business conference to be learning. So she's, she is the example of being able to take a life that's had a lot of ups and downs, which we all get.
Sure, we do.
Hard knocks along the road, and reinvent your life, and really begin to contribute to society. She's built a multi-million-dollar business. Just by really connecting to
Since
some of
at
the things that-
62?
Yeah.
What
It's
does
her
she
passion.
do?
She's a leader in a nutritional products company.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And and it's kept her healthy and engaged and having a great life. And one of the things
I
that
think also it gives someone purpose, a redirection of purpose. That maybe it's something that they've always wanted to do, or they, like at 40, even though you're still great at what you do, or you're okay with it, sometimes having someone else come in, it's like, yeah, that's really what I want to do. And you realize, I'm really good.
well, and I believe that you're capable if you have the dream, vision, wish and you look at your strength set, I mean, you can take your experiences and really contribute to a lot of people groups. Gone are the days when we stay in one career for our lifetime. We're in multiple careers, and in this day of downsizing, outsourcing, that there are so many talented people out there that have so much to give, either to companies or to communities or to different people groups. But I feel like it's never too late to change. It's never too late to change, and we should never quit living until we're done.
And I like to think of it as not necessarily reinventing yourself, but it's finding that other aspect of yourself that either was dormant or that you never knew, but something because of a change in your life. It could be divorce, it could be a death in the family, it could be a loss of job, whatever it may be, that you now are able to bring that out in the open and say, oh my gosh, this is open, this is right here. How do I get there now? I want to go do that.
So all of that info is on my website as well, to help you transition your next part. It's on my website. I'd love to be able to chat with you on the Monetize Me community on Facebook. If you have questions, there's experts there that'll jump in and answer. I really wanted it to be a resource for that kind of pay it forward aspect of
that's great.
The entrepreneurial journey.
Well, Kathy, thank you for joining me on Little Big Talk. I know we probably went a lot longer. Oh, you can still stay or whatever. I know we probably went longer than I had thought, but sometimes I find it so interesting on talking to some of the guests that I have on Little Big Talk that I kind of lose track of time. And with Little Big Talk, this is all live. There's no commercials. There's no breaks. So sometimes when we go on, consider that part of the commercial break too. I don't know. So hopefully I still have many of you with me. So I appreciate that. Kathy, thank you so much for joining me. Any other questions or anything else? Because if not, we're going to roll right into the cooking segment.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do we still have people on board?
We've got a lot of people on board. They want to see what you're cooking.
A couple of things here that what I'm cooking, and then we'll go into the kitchen, is that I made a chicken kebab that I thought was really easy. Because if you're going to have your little, look at that, I'm already done with it. If you're going to have your little Oscar party, or even if it's just for your entertaining of guests that come to your house, family, friends or whatever it is. I made a chicken kebab. I made stuffed little mini peppers. I just found these recently. They probably have always been there.
The little...
Yes. I'm always looking at the big red ones. Yeah. Because I was never a fan of big stuffed peppers. But the little ones, I'm like, okay, little.
That's why
little
you
is
like
big.
It. Plus, they're different colors.
They're different colors, but they're more like manageable. That this is enough that I
flavor,
made.
Yeah.
So I made a mini stuffed pepper like hors d'oeuvre. I'm just going to do a really quick variation of how you would have the sliced mozzarella and the tomatoes and the basil drizzled with either you could do balsamic vinegar or olive oil, or just olive oil, salt, and pepper. Well, anyway, I'm going to make a version of that on a crostini or sliced baguette. Yummy. And we're going to toast that really quick.
What's the chicken story I'm supposed to remind you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to tell that in the kitchen?
Oh, wait a minute. What was it? Oh, yeah, the chicken story about Zach. Okay.
Okay.
I'm working with this one recipe, and unfortunately it didn't turn out in time here, so it looks like I got to go back to the cooking table. But it was chocolate cupcakes with ganache type of frosting on top with a slice of strawberry, and I was going to put gold and silver, little sprinkles because Oscar party. So I might have to do that next time. So I apologize for that. To come back to the chicken story that I was going to tell you about, when we went down to LA because we had to do some stuff for TLC, and I told the kids, yes, I'll cook up some chicken for you so you'll have something to eat. I'll make chocolate chip cookies,
Load them up before you go.
Maybe because I was bribing them that, oh my gosh, it's not so bad when mom leaves. I don't know. Was it me feeling guilty or was I, who knows?
Mom taking care of your kids.
But I didn't have time to make the chocolate chip cookies because I was working on the cookbook because I had a deadline before I flew out. So I just made the chicken. So I made the barbecue chicken with bacon and sauteed grilled onions and everything. So I made that for them. So I'm, flying out to LA, wrapped it up in foil, flying out to LA. I'm in this photo shoot or whatever I was doing. Suddenly I get this text from Zach. oh my goodness, the best chicken. Thank you so much. And I thought,
that was nice.
okay, well, that was good. That was good. Because usually they don't text me afterwards. So anyway, that was kind of the chicken story.
Oh, that's sweet.
That I made that before I left. So, okay, let's go to the kitchen.
Okay.
Switch it?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't plug it. Give me a second to switch over.
Do you want the ball over there too?
Do you want to talk to people or what's up?
Yeah. Okay.
Are we still here?
We are. I'm bringing.
We're still here. We're in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Rocky's blocking. Come on, Rocky. Okay, we've got the microphone. There you go, Amy.
Hi, people. In all reality, it was just a couple of steps from where I sat into the kitchen. Because usually where I sit is in the dining room. I think you guys see my living room in the background. So here I am in the kitchen. I'll just give you an idea of what I did. This was a chicken kebab. I really like it. You can marinate your chicken if you want, or you don't have to. But what I did here was I prepped the chicken, meaning I pounded it, tenderized it, and put salt and pepper, a little garlic, and a little olive oil. Kind of mixed that all over the chicken a little bit. I pre-cooked bacon. Now I cooked it a little bit too long because it became a little bit too crunchy, so I didn't get all of it on this skewer. But just cook the bacon so it's somewhat cooked but still palatable to put on the skewer. So what I did was I put the bacon on first. It's like a ribbon effect. And then the raw chicken, then the pineapple, green onion. You could put a green pepper or maybe even asparagus would work well too, or a tomato, whatever you wanted. And then I put and then the ribbon of the bacon, threaded it through the kebab again. I would show you, but I don't have enough of the ingredients because we were running late. Another piece of chicken, bacon, pineapple. I made my own barbecue sauce with soy sauce because I had the pineapple and some other seasonings on here that I wanted it not quite an Asian flair, but something different. So some ketchup, brown sugar, red vinegar, a little salt and pepper, a little garlic, soy sauce, and I think that's it.
That sounds delicious.
But the recipes will be on Little Big Talk probably in the next day or two, as soon as I get it to Rich, and he'll be able to put it on. So then I just put the homemade barbecue sauce over it, skewered it, put it in my oven at about 425, cooked it for maybe about 15 minutes to make sure your chicken's done. So I think this is a wonderful
and Zach,
little hors d'oeuvre. And yeah, Zach already had one, right? These little this is what I was talking about earlier, is these little itty bitty peppers. I just love them. I'm not a real big fan of the big ones because it's almost like
overbearing.
Too much.
It is too
it's
much.
Just too much.
A big, these are nice.
Yeah, see, I thought these
flavorful.
Lovely little things because you can, eat them up in a couple bites. Great hors d'oeuvres. In fact, you can put whatever stuffing you want into these little mini green peppers or these peppers. Well, this is it. This is the mixture that I put in there. I bought petite mini peas, a little bit of garlic, salt and pepper, Parmesan cheese, ricotta cheese. What did I say? Parmesan? Parmesan? What do I say? Parmesan? Parmesan. Who knows?
I'm
It's
Italian.
I
have to say Parmesan.
Did I ever tell you the story about Molly? I think I said what did I say?
Parmesan.
Is that the right way?
No.
I say Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Well, I used to always say Parmesan. Parmesan cheese. Where's the Parmesan cheese? Spaghetti and all this other stuff. Molly had some of her friends over. This was probably about a couple of years ago or something. She goes, oh yeah, my mom uses Parmesan cheese. My mom, uses Parmesan cheese. Her friends are looking at her. What? Parmesan cheese? What is that? Well, Parmesan cheese is stuff. Molly, no, it's Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Oh, she was so embarrassed. She Mother, why did you do that to me? I don't know why I gotten in that habit, and here I cook. Really? Cook?
Yeah.
So, Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Oh.
Parmesan.
Anyway.
We'll get it right one of these days. It doesn't matter.
There is
It all tastes good.
Parmesan cheese in here. And petite peas. I made them really crunchy pancetta. And
Pancetta.
pancetta. You can use bacon, but I like this. It kind of crisps up differently than I think bacon, and it's not,
not as much grease in it either.
Well, it's not as much grease, and
more meaty.
It can be more meaty, but I think it just when you need it just crumbly and stuff like that, it just does it a little bit better than bacon, because half the time you almost have to burn bacon. So anyway,
so the pepper looked like
this little stuffing is
Before.
in. Oh yeah, do I already have one? Oh yeah, just cut off the top, core the seeds out of here. Of course, this has been around for a little bit, so just use your finger a little bit. Make sure you get it all down in there. Just stuff your little pepper.
Fabulous.
And you mix all this together, obviously. The peas, the ricotta cheese, the Parmesan cheese, Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper, a little garlic. Your little pancetta. And then you just kind of cook it on a cookie sheet, probably for about 15 minutes or so. And
grease it a little bit first, just a little.
You can grease it a little bit. But I often say, just kind of grease it where you think the peppers are going to go. You don't need to grease the whole thing. And then this is how it turns out. So
how long do you cook these for?
About 15 minutes.
Oh, nice.
At about 375. My other thing that I was going to do really quick, like I said, was a different version of what you can do. I tell you, little toasted breads, you can almost make anything. I'm going to try out this creamy avocado dipped sauce type of thing. And I'm trying to decide on what I want on the bread and then put the avocado dip right over it.
Like a crostini type.
Yeah, crostini type of thing. So what you do is you just put this a little bit over your bread.
Mozzarella.
There's
Tomatoes.
Mozzarella. There's garlic. There's
these are little cherry tomatoes.
Cherry tomatoes sliced up. Then there is what else do I? Garlic, salt and pepper,
Basil.
a little olive oil. Basil's coming. Basil's quite not.
What's the green in here?
This is parsley.
Oh, parsley.
I did a little parsley.
Very nice.
Because you got bagel, because I wanted a little green. So this is kind of that modified. Here, I got a little too much tomatoes here. Kind of like that modified if you were just going to use the sliced avocado. No, not avocado. Sliced mozzarella, tomatoes, in slices.
Yeah.
So I just chunked this up a little bit.
Any seasonings? Any salt and pepper?
Yeah, salt and pepper, olive oil. You already got the fresh basil. There's nothing like fresh basil to me.
Oh, I love it.
And then parsley. I love fresh parsley. And what we're going to do, I think my oven's off, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's off. I'm gonna turn it around.
We're just going to put this on broil so you can see it, how it end results of it.
Okay. Do we want to plate anything while we're...
So, however you guys want to serve this up, you've got your kebabs, and then you've got your peppers. You would have had a little sweet here, but that's why I wish we had a commercial, because...
Commercial break.
Or I had other people, because they would have been remaking the cupcakes for me. And, oh yeah, did you get the fresh basil? Good, good, good.
There we go.
Then you can just plate that up however you may want for your Oscar party or whatever entertaining.
Rich
We're
is
going to
just-
slide this on the oven for a minute. And Lisa, if you could keep an eye on that, that would be great.
You want it kind of bubbly, crispy?
Just until the cheese melts. really what we need. I'm going to get some of this basil over here. I don't know. I like cooking with fresh herbs, if you can.
Love it.
Dry herbs, are great because, if you can't get fresh, they're the next best thing. So we'll go back over here and we'll do a little more Little Big Talk with Amy, my sidekick Lisa, our guest Kathy.
Our
Rich is
yummy
behind the
plate.
scenes.
Look at this.
Yeah, so
Fabulous.
bacon, chicken, you can't go wrong with bacon.
No.
So to me, these hors d'oeuvres kind of worked well together too because you got the bacon and then you got the pancetta. Different flavors but kind of similar.
That basil.
And then, you can always do
Fabulous.
vegetables or something like that. But this is what I like. And we'll wait till these are done in a minute or two.
Do we need a little refresher on mimosas or anything? Are we?
Well, I have mine. I don't know about you.
Oh, you have a new one?
Of course. I restocked it for
You can come back over here, Lisa.
the broilers on. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. So, let's see. What else is out there, guys? Little Big Talk. Boy, what a morning we've had.
Whew.
I think, what do we got coming up? Anything do we have coming up?
Well, we're looking at trying to do a fitness program here in the
Yeah,
next.
a couple of things that we're going to have coming up on Little Big Talk. I just wanted to talk with you guys a little bit more about fitness, what I continue to do, what I think is kind of maybe your own pep talk about fitness and where you're at, and even if you're doing a little bit of something, to me, as long as you're moving,
Just moving.
forward, as long as you're moving and doing something, it's better than not doing anything
And
at
it's
all.
hard with this weather, but
It
you
is.
just have to do it. You
Well,
have
it's
to
just
get
like the
out.
exercise and the health and just really thinking about your food. What are you taking in each and every day? Instead of wiping your whole life clean and the whole slate clean.
Yeah.
Because sometimes for me anyway, that can be overwhelming.
And you can't stick to that.
That begin to cut things away slowly but surely. It's like making dinner. I love to cook. Well, look at me. I'm scrambling all over the place, but I still make time to make something for dinner.
Nutritious.
Because to
too.
me,
You put-
15 minutes of sitting down or at least communicating with my family or my kids
Yes.
is better than none at all. So to me, that's how I look at health, fitness, begin, or keep moving or keep doing something. If you need to change it up more, do a different exercise combining with your other stuff you're doing. Or
But-
going places you haven't gone to, like downtown Portland.
I know.
So we're going to
have
do
to
kind
go.
of like a fitness, just kind of
Wellness.
wellness, kind of going back, to refocusing. And it's all a part of what are your goals? What were your resolutions? New
for
Year's resolutions.
New Year's.
And I usually like to say goals because it's constantly working. You're, continuing to work on it. And obviously, I have a goal. I'd like to lose a few more
I
pounds.
know by some.
But I'm not really focused on losing the pounds more than staying a lot more healthier.
Getting healthy, right.
Getting exercise, doing something that's active. So we're going to do that. And another thing is because my brain is soon, well, not really my brain, but Matt's brain is definitely going to be around farming, getting our land ready to start prepping to plant
Spring.
pumpkins.
Yeah, spring
So,
planting.
what do we do right now where you can't really plant outside, but what are some of the things that we can start
prep?
doing for that little vegetable garden that you want?
or
the herb garden.
Yes.
Some of them stay for, like your rosemary bush will stay all year long. A couple of other ones.
But you have to trim
But,
it up and keep
well,
it
yeah.
in shape.
So what are some of the things that we can start doing now if you're a green thumb, which this isn't really green. This is kind of like olive oil and flowered.
But you got a nice
and
garden every year. You plant a nice garden.
Well, you know what? I may plant it. Thankfully, our farm help, Camerino, he helps me maintain it. Because if not, I don't know what it is, but the weeds overpower everything that I planted. And I remember reading the story as a kid about the weeds, is that if we're not careful enough in our own personal life, could be food. It could be overworking. It could be, slacking off on organization. Okay, I'm prime for that. It could be a lot of things that if you're not careful enough, you'll start having
weeds will
a
overgrow.
lot of weeds in your life. And they do become,
right.
much more than you can handle. And then you forget about seeing
Right.
what is good out there.
That's a good
what's good
point.
in my life.
Yeah.
So we do need to trim a little bit. We need to refocus and come back to why we started something and how can we get rid of, some of the weeds in our life. So we're going to have a segment on the weeds in our life. Good title. The weeds in our life.
I just remember the bee story from one of your episodes.
Oh, in the garden?
In the garden.
Oh, Lord
you have lots
above.
of bees out here, right?
Yes. In fact, I wanted to get this quote because if you guys aren't on my, I think, fan page Facebook, I put on a great quote that I think is lovely. Someone sent it to me on Facebook, and then I had to share it. I had to take it because it was so wonderful. Thank you, Kathy, for taking that out. Kathy Nelson is still with us from Connect Works. And
But I can help.
KathyNelson.com.
I'll help her.
And so we'll probably end our segment with this hors d'oeuvre, toasting to the Oscars. But remember, you guys have your own movie on your own life. So celebrate the movie that's in you because your journey is a wonderful journey. The quote I have that was on my fan page Facebook, feel free to, go to that. I would love it if you signed up for my Twitter account, and that's Amy Roloff CF on my Twitter. My websites, my new website for Amy is going to hopefully be up soon. Maybe another month, Rich?
Sorry, I'm still listening.
Yes, it will be.
And
yes,
I will,
yes.
my new website for the Amy Roloff Charity Foundation will probably be up in about another 2 months. So look for some, not changes necessarily, just updated, upgraded. And I am so, so excited for that. Is this
Look.
it? Yeah, see?
Put a little-
Yeah, melted. Oh, yeah, see the
yeah,
basil
little
goes
basil.
in there. Yeah. Tomatoes thing. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have one.
Fabulous. Okay, we have to
Yeah.
clear the table, and Rich, we have to save one for Rich.
Oh,
Because
gosh, yes.
he lives for the food. This is his motivation for doing this.
Well, that's
is the
my pay
food.
for,
Yeah.
my gesture of thanks. That's what it is,
So-
my gesture of thanks.
Yeah.
The quote that I have is, and if you want to come back here if there's any more questions or shout outs to people, Lisa, too.
Sure.
The qu-
There's a couple questions. I'll let her go get in.
Okay. The quote that I did have was, you may think the grass is greener on the other side, but if you take the time to water your own grass, it would be just as green. I personally love that quote. In fact, I'm almost going to make it my year's quote,
I love it.
this year, because we're always thinking that it's always greener on the other side of the fence. Someone else's life is always better than mine.
Yeah.
The Oscars. Oh, that movie star, oh my gosh, their life is perfect. They get to do whatever they want. If that was the case, then why are we having marriages end in 72 days, if not in 15 years? They have the
Sad.
same issues and problems as we do. So let's take care of watering our own grass. I love this quote.
I love it. I love
So
it.
as we, appreciate
Put
the
it in the
Oscars
kitchen.
and the wonderful actors that created those stories of movie making and making us dream and making us have hope. Not making us, helping us to dream, helping us to have hope and be inspired by looking at what we can do in our own life. Remember, creating that movie in your own life is more important.
Yes.
So, anyway, look to them. They're good people. They do a lot of great things. But as we see the glamour and the nice dresses and the red carpet and all the celebration and the awards, remember to give yourself an award, because being you is the best thing that you can do. So,
Very well said. Love it.
cheers to Little Big Talk. Oh, yes.
Cheers.
What else do we have? Oh,
I know I'm a
you
little.
want to share?
Sure,
You want to
give me
share?
a little
Okay.
pour. Couple questions for somebody was saying, the portion sizes are so large, like when you go to restaurants, and how do you deal with that? And someone had suggested maybe ordering child size portions, but you can split a meal. Sometimes you and I go to lunch
Yeah.
and we split a meal. We want the flavor, but we don't want the whole meal.
And I get that a lot with little people, because sometimes we will go ask. But the thing is, some little people eat just as much as an average sized person. But especially women, some of us will say, well, can we just have a smaller portion of the main food? But I think because they're a restaurant, they're a lot more regulated. You can join us, Kathy, if you so choose.
Come on in.
Gonna bring.
Come on in. Grab
Yeah,
a
come
chair.
on in. That they either want a discount in the price or at least a discount on the portions. But like you and I do, it's like we love this food. We just want a little bit of it.
We
Let's
want the
just
flavor
split.
and the quality,
Yeah,
not the quantity.
Because I'm not getting a kid's meal. It's
Yeah.
like, no. I want the works on everything.
yeah.
So,
She
you know,
does.
anytime when I make a meal, that's why my cookbook won't exactly have portions in it, because depending on how, especially when you're cooking, you can adjust for those portions a lot better. If you're not serving 4 people, then just double up on the recipe if you're now serving 8.
Right, that's good.
Or if you're only serving 2, still make 4, you have leftovers. I'm a big fan of leftovers, especially when it comes to beef or chicken. You can suddenly put that in a soup or an
yes.
enchilada, a taco, or even a salad. I've had meat salads before, so it incorporates a lot more greens. So when it comes to proportion controls, I usually ask the restaurant. And a lot of restaurants are doing that. I know some restaurants will have full size or half size. Half size, I always go for the half size because it's like
Yeah, you
sometimes
see
your
that more
eyes.
and more
Yeah.
now. You do.
Anything else?
Let's see. Well,
What are people saying?
somebody said they missed the quote. Maybe you can give the quote one
Oh,
more
I will
time.
definitely give the quote again because I think it's time to wrap up Little Big Talk.
Yes, we've been on for, hour and a half.
Yeah, a little bit, an hour and a half. But again, I want to thank you for joining me for Little Big Talk with Amy. It's every other Saturday, 10 o'clock. And that is Pacific Standard Time. Feel free to tell other people when we post it on the Facebook or the website for Little Big Talk. Feel free to give that link to other people. I'd love for a lot more of you to join me. And it's really just about a little talk, you and I. Sometimes about little subjects, sometimes about big. But it's what's on our heart, what's on my mind, what's going on in my life, what's going on in the world. Every little bit matters, including the big stuff. So make it a great day. And the quote that I have that I love, and in fact I think it's going to be my year quote, it is, "You may think the grass is greener on the other side, but if you take the time to water your own grass, it would be just as green."
True
I
statement.
love it.
Love
Don't you
it.
love
Great
that?
statement.
Love
That's
it.
very good.
So cheers. Make it
Cheers.
an Oscar night
Woohoo.
because you are your own movie.
Amen.
Thank you again for coming, Kathy.
Well, thank you, Amy, for having me.
Okay, you're going to have one of these?
I am not. They look wonderful.
Okay, that's fine. I have to taste it.
I drink the juice.